Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Hub back into the video today. And today, we're going to be going over Houston Texans schedule predictions. I'm going to go over what games I think are primetime games. I'm going to make a week one prediction as well, who the Texans will face. The NFL schedule will be announced on Wednesday. And, I'm looking at this schedule now, and look, I'm not going to say the Texans aren't going to make the playoffs because I 100% believe they will. But this is a hard schedule. This is a really hard schedule. I'm going to go over the teams they will face. I'm going to go over predictions. Teams. I'm going to go over predictions. Teams that I think will be facing the Texans on primetime national television, and some of the matchups I'm really excited for. And so the schedule is getting announced Wednesday. Let's go over it. So I'm just going to go over the teams we play: Baltimore, Buffalo, Chicago, Detroit, Dallas, Green Bay, Kansas City, Minnesota, New England, New York Jets, Miami Dolphins, and then you got the Tennessee Titans, Indianapolis Colts, Jacksonville Jaguars twice, like always. It's a hard schedule. Now look at teams like the Patriots and the Vikings and the Titans twice. I guess I would, say those are in Chicago as well. I would say those are the easier games for this Texans team, but I feel like this schedule is a lot harder and a lot less easier than it was last year. And you got so many hard matchups this year, so many good teams, so many, you got many playoff teams. Miami was in the playoffs last year. You have, I know New York wasn't in the playoffs last year, but they got Aaron Rodgers and they're an improved team and should be a playoff team this year. You got the reigning champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. You have the Green Bay Packers, the Dallas Cowboys, the Detroit Lions, the Buffalo Bills, the Baltimore Ravens. Those are 8 teams right there who are going to be good teams this year. So it's going to be, and then I didn't even mention the Jaguars and the Colts twice. So, but I'm going over this schedule and I'm thinking about it. And I'm thinking to myself, I mean, how many national television primetime games are this Texans team going to have? Because I feel like there are going to be a couple games that you look at some of the matchups for this Texans team and like, oh, how's that not a national television game? So I think the ones that you will see that will be national television games. So I'm going to start off with the Dallas Cowboys. That will be a national televised game. I've heard that might be a Thanksgiving game. But this is in Dallas, so definitely does fit for a Thanksgiving game since it is in Dallas. So I think this might be a Thanksgiving game. That's what I've been hearing, but we'll see. Buffalo, not only is Buffalo a good team, but you got Stephon Diggs going up against his former team. I know NFL is going to want to eat that up. That might be a Monday Night Football game. Definitely. I think that definitely is a potential for a Monday Night Football game in Houston versus Buffalo. Buffalo and Houston's a great Monday Night Football game if you think about it as well. You got Baltimore coming into Houston, AFC divisional, rematch. Lamar versus CJ Stroud. I couldn't imagine that not being a national televised game. The Detroit Lions, I feel like that's going to be potentially one of the games that you look at. Texans and Lions, how is this not a national televised game? But I think that has potential as well. That very well, I think, could be a Sunday night game. And then I think the Green Bay Packers, look, Jordan Love versus C.J. Stroud, that's a great matchup. And that's going to probably be one of the games that is not national televised, and it's like a 12 o'clock or a 3:25 game. And we think, okay, how's this not televised? You got 2 great quarterbacks going up against each other, 2 great teams. I think the Kansas City Chiefs game will definitely be national televised. I've heard that might be the opener. So the Texans might have the opener. I've heard it might be. It's either going to be Lamar and the Ravens traveling to Kansas City for ring night on Thursday, or the Houston Texans. So that will be interesting. The New York Jets, I don't see how that's not a national televised game. And then the Jacksonville Jaguars. I know they didn't make the playoffs last year, but they are a team who played, it was a dogfight for the division. You got Trevor Lawrence versus CJ Stroud. Those are, watching the Trevor Lawrence CJ Stroud games, they're interesting. And then you got the Colts. The Texans and Colts fought for a playoff spot last year and went at it. Anthony Richardson is now healthy. You got Miami and Tua. There are going to be some primetime snubs for this Texans team this year. But if I had to, I think the most the Texans are going to get national televised games are going to probably be 5 or 6. So if I had to make a prediction, I think the national televised games for the Texans will be Baltimore, Buffalo, Dallas, Detroit, Kansas City, and I'm gonna go with the Jets. I think those are, and then you get, but then you're leaving teams out like the Packers, the Colts, the Jaguars, the Dolphins, who are who are not national. I mean, those are great games. So, I definitely think there are so many potential national television games for the Texans. But week one prediction, I am going to go with the Texans opening up this season in Kansas City. I think there's going to be it's going to be one of either two things. I think either the Texans are going to I think the Texans are going to be a national television game week one. I think it's either going to be Kansas City Thursday, the opener of the season, which we saw that in 2020 between the Texans and the Chiefs versus Deshaun Watson when we had Deshaun Watson. Or I think we'll have Monday Night Football against the Jets. The Jets usually always have Monday Night Football. So I believe it very well could be the Jets and Texans Monday night or the Chiefs and Texans Thursday night. That's my week one prediction. I think it'll probably be the Chiefs and the Texans. Those are the two best teams in the AFC. I would like to see a rematch of the AFC Championship with Lamar and the Chiefs. Lamar and the Chiefs going up against each other. But at the same time, I think that the Texans and the Chiefs would be a better matchup to start off the first game of the season, for sure. I mean, look how good of a game last year's game was between the Lions and the Chiefs. I think it could be that type of game if we see it. I think it'd be a high scoring game as well, although there are two really good defenses right there. Let me know your thoughts and peace out. Go Texans.